play caller and a rookie quarterback from a small town and several offensive players who were in their first or second year. It's a fourth-place team. Just be patient. Miami was 10-6. Great special teams, great defense, and had a great offensive draft. You're not finishing ahead of them. Buffalo was 13-3. Has one real weakness, pass rush. First two picks, pass rushers. New England spent a fortune in the offseason, has the best football coach ever, Cam Newton year 2, and 8 players opt back in. You're not beating them. They were 7-9, and that was a disaster for them. The New York Jets are a fourth-place team. Listen, there's 4 teams in the NFL that I think are going to finish last. 2 I would pick today, Detroit and Houston. 2 others, Philadelphia and the Jets, I presume they're fourth-place teams. Zach Wilson looks 11. Small town Utah, big city New York. This is going to take time. You got to be patient. I mean, God, Zach Wilson's mom looks 28. Forget Zach. This is just a young kid. This is a brutal division. Defensive coaches, best defensive coach division easily in the NFL. Zach Wilson is going to be completely overwhelmed for 2 years. That's why I said you could have made an argument to keep Darnold because at least he's seen the coaching in this division. So you're starting over at quarterback. This is Sam Darnold as a rookie. The difference is he has a competent general manager and a much better left side of the offensive line. But how did the Jets draft go? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. How is your patience? That's going to matter. Don't call sports talk radio when they're 1-5. That's what they're probably going to be if they have to face Belichick and Brian Flores and Sean McDermott early. Everything's perspective. Perspective will control your happiness. If I said to you you're a 6-11 team, that's not necessarily a disaster if you lose a bunch of close games and Zach Wilson can play. If I was a Jet fan today and you said, he's a hit, and we lost a ton of close games, I'd take 6-11 tomorrow. Now, if you tell me you're 7 and 10, and Zach Wilson had 17 picks, and to be honest with you, you got some scheduling breaks. Cam got hurt. You didn't play him twice. You just got to sit back, let it play out, let this puppy bake. Because you got a first-time head coach and a first-time play caller and a rookie quarterback and rookies everywhere. And I got no idea how it's going to turn out. By the way, nobody does, including Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas. No team in the NFL is a bigger question mark than the Jets. You cross your fingers, you hope it's good, you hope the kid can play. But he's going from small-town Utah to the biggest city in America and the surliest media. Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
Well, I don't know how patient Chicago fans are going to be, but head coach Matt Nagy says they're not rushing Justin Fields onto the field next season. They did make an aggressive move up to get him, and he is not making any guesses about when Fields will make his debut.
For him, it's going to be exciting for him to just come in here and learn how to be a professional quarterback. It's not going to happen overnight. When the time is right, I promise you, every single person will know, including Justin, when it's the right time. And that's naturally how it happens.
Well, it's not the Kansas City, Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes situation. This is Chicago, and both of you are on the hot seat, yourself and the GM. And Chicago has not had a quarterback in decades. And you just made an aggressive move up for a guy that a lot of people had ranked second right behind Trevor Lawrence, and some people even thought he might be a better prospect than Trevor Lawrence.
He will play this year.
So yes, we're going to see him on the field. If you're questioning at all how people feel about your current quarterback situation without Justin Fields, you can go and check the mentions under that QB1 post that you guys put up with Andy Dalton.
Also, look at the schedule. Remember how last year, a couple years ago, we predicted when Lamar Jackson would start? Remember, we nailed it. We predicted week 11. And we kind of predicted when Tua would get an opportunity. Wait until the Bears' schedule comes out. If they get a bye or the Lions are coming up in week 9, I
don't even think it'll last that long.
I don't either, but there's a time to play him. So, listen, if it's Green Bay at Lambeau, you're not going to start him. look at your schedule. Matt Nagy's going to look at that thing and go, okay, we got the Lions, then a bye, and then home against blank. Then you build some momentum. So he's going to play. My guess is first couple weeks in November, he'll play.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be very long at all. First of all, the fan base wants to see him.
Yeah.
Second of all, what is your quarterback situation? Nick Foles and Andy Dalton. So how are either of them going to fare against the Green Bay Packers? The fans going to want to see him, and I don't subscribe as much to as other people do to like rookie quarterbacks need to sit for a year. I think if you have a very stable organization, if you have a situation where the coach has no heat on them, the GM has no heat on them, which is not the situation in Chicago. You guys are coming off a great season. That's everything that was going on with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Like they drafted their quarterback of the future. They had a very stable situation. Alex Smith, great pro, was playing in the playoffs. This is not the same situation. So I don't think that it's always the best thing for a quarterback to sit as a rookie. Like there is some value in learning what not to do when you lose, how to recover from getting blown out. Like I didn't think that was a good situation for Tua last year. If he was healthy, I think he should have been out there.
Yeah.
You also have more to evaluate when you let a rookie quarterback start. This is a different situation, obviously, because they're in the hot seat, so they may try and win a few games, to your point, before they put him out there, but let them get blown out once or twice, and there's not going to be any patience from the fan base anymore.
Right.
So the Broncos, who I thought sure were taking Justin Fields, did not draft a rookie quarterback this year, so they will have a competition between Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. In the preseason, when asked how he would split reps between the two, head coach Vic Fangio says he expects it to be 50-50 throughout OTAs and training camp, and both Lock and Bridgewater will have an equal chance to get the starting job. I think that they're still in the conversation with Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that this is, I mean, how could you pass up on Mac Jones and Justin Fields unless that was the scenario?
It's interesting because Aaron Rodgers, there was a story that leaked this weekend. He was interested in the Raiders. It's like, timeout. Aaron, Denver's actually, the last two drafts, has gotten a lot of good players. Like Denver, if I told you tomorrow, Aaron Rodgers on Denver, that's a good football team.
I would feel better about Aaron Rodgers on Denver's team than Las Vegas for sure.
Yeah, if I told you Aaron Rodgers on the Raiders, you'd be like, well, they'll be in a lot of high-scoring games with Mahomes and Justin Herbert.
Right.
So, like, I think Denver is one of those places that it was almost like Peyton Manning years ago. Peyton Manning looked around and went, Denver just needs a quarterback. I think Denver's once again in the just needs a top quarterback.
Plus, could you see Aaron Rodgers and Gruden?
Well, it's good for the...
I mean, it's good for us.
It's good for the marquee.
But I mean, do you think the two of them would... Is there enough room?
Listen, my first
Is there
job...
enough air in the room for the two of them?
My first job out of college was Vegas. Siegfried and Roy always look good on the marquee. Gruden and Aaron's great on the marquee. It doesn't mean it's going to win. But you could not get a ticket for 5 years.
I would love it, but I'm just saying I don't know if that's a long-term winning situation. And we know at the end of the day, Gruden is the one with the contract. So finally, it's a little trouble in Lakerland.
A little?
LeBron was back on the court Friday after missing over a month with an ankle injury.